Too old to stand in line at a club, but too young to retire to the bingo hall? The Vegas 30 podcast is here for you. Here's your hosts, Scott Stratton and Allison Kramer. It's a gamble when you play your heart, but I'm a betting man.
You can't just flick Johnny's head like that. It's just... That's weird if you're only listening to the audio. What's happened here is we have our Johnny Chan bobblehead, and Allison was just...
Bobbling his head. What's the deal?
You just can't bobble his head willy-nilly. You just can't just flick it around like it's...
His sole purpose is to be a bobblehead. If you're not bobbling his head, he's not doing it.
Gentle bobbles.
I was gentle.
It's not like Slayer or something like that.
I thought I was bobbling appropriately to the music.
Traumatized. We just begun. Hello, everyone. This is the Vegas 30, the place you go when you're over 30 and hate people younger than you to go to Vegas. I am Scott. She is Allison. How are you, Allison?
I'm good. How are you, Scott?
I am good. I have a chair with armrests. I'm happy.
Oh, good for you.
I feel good. If you didn't know from the previous episodes, we usually have a battle of armrest versus non-armrest. And if you're listening to this, we do appreciate you listening all the time. Thank you for listening to it, whatever way you've subscribed, iTunes, Stitcher, whatever messed up geeky way you do podcasts. But if you want to watch it, we also have the video version of it. And you can go to thevegas30.com and check that out. Or you can find it on YouTube if search is your thing. So this episode, we are going to talk about things that we didn't like. It's the episode they didn't want you to hear. It's the one that they wouldn't allow out. It's the one we found in the vault. You know, they just found Star Wars. They just found Wayne, did you see that? They just found a Star Wars, the outtakes reel from Jedi and Empire, 25 years ago. It just came out this week. Somebody found it in an attic under a reel of 35 millimeter film. And so you got to check that out. Wow, we've already gone off the rails. I just started. So, I love you. Thank you for doing that. The entire reason I said that was to set that up. So that's good. So it's the Letdowns. The nice thing about not having an individual place or brand sponsor this podcast with the Vegas 30, and if you want to, that's fine. But the nice thing about it now is that we can say what we want because there's no... And we were talking about this before. If we had a sponsor, let's say MGM Mirage or Caesars or Harris Group or a restaurant group or something like that, sponsor the podcast, you might not be transparent on what you thought about something. Yeah. So, and it runs you into a difficult spot. We talked about this, on the business side of things in the Unpodcast about you build up your brand, you build up your followers and your readers, or your viewers, or your listeners because of your transparency, for one, right? You're honest to them. You give them advice honestly. Yeah. And that's why we want to make sure the Vegas 30 is always that we give an honest advice, that if something's a waste of time, we want you to know it's a waste of time versus just not talking about the waste of time, right?
Yeah.
There's a difference.
There's
a difference by omitting something because you didn't like it versus, and that's what a lot of reviewers will do. If they didn't like something, they just won't say it.
Yeah, I think for us, we're so expecting Vegas stuff to be so great that when something doesn't go well, we're just so angry that we can't help it.
And it's actually one of the reasons why I love Vegas, and I know you do too. Is I was talking to someone about this last week, and they're like, "Well, why? Why do you love Vegas so much?"
Yeah.
And I was telling them that it's because there's so much excellence that from Cirque du Soleil or shows to dining to gambling to fun to scenery. It's all amazing, and that's where when it's not amazing, it actually makes it so much worse. Because we talked about this many times, where the problem with a place like Vegas or any other big city, but especially Vegas, is if you go eat somewhere and it's not as good as you thought.
Yeah.
There was 4,000 other choices within an arm's length to go to, and it really kind of spoils it. It's like going to a conference and picking a concurrent session, and it wasn't good, and there was 4 other ones going at the same time, and you could have gone to see that.
Yeah, especially if if it's in the morning, let's say, and you get yourself out of bed. If where you're going isn't better than the room service could have been, and you're in Vegas, you're grumpy after. You are not happy.
Which brings us to our
choice.
first place, where we've heard a lot about going to the buffet at Paris.
Yeah, because we asked actually on the Vegas 30 Facebook page for some recommendations, and Paris Breakfast Buffet was one of the buffets.
Came up a few times actually.
Yeah, that was recommended.
And we have been kind of big fans of Caesar's new buffet, the Bacchanal one, and Bellagio's a famous Sunday brunch type of thing. In Paris, we've always heard about go to Paris especially for their breakfast buffet. And
so we did.
So we did. And we drove to Paris just for the buffet. And we've been to Paris many times for Mon Ami Gabi. Mm-hmm. Still one of our favorite restaurants out there. And every time we've gone. And so we went to the buffet. And so the lineup was giant, like most buffets. But since being a diamond member of the total rewards of the Caesars
because it's under the
Harris
same
group.
property.
Yeah, so being a diamond member, that allowed us to skip the line,
which was really nice.
Which is nice. So so we got the valet with diamond, and we got the skipping the line with diamond. So we went right in. So there was nothing that would slow us down. We went right in, and then we tried it, and it wasn't any good.
No, it was really disappointing.
No, it was actually...
And we kept talking when we're sitting there and eating and talked about, if we hadn't had the valet.
Yeah, if we lined up for an hour for this, it would be even worse.
Even worse.
Which people actually have to do. And so
Or paid for a taxi to come over would have been even worse.
Waited an hour and a half and then ate that. And I had breakfast. I had sausage, egg, and bacon and hash browns. And it just wasn't...
Yeah, it was really
And I've had that combo many a times. And it wasn't even anything special, let alone even ordinary. And so I was talking to a buddy, Dave, who one of the guys recommended it to me, a buddy of mine, that I said, well, did you try the crepes? The crepes, obviously Paris crepes, that's where it is.
Yeah.
And I apologize to people listening right now, but I'm not willing to try, even for you, good listeners, something at a buffet that has 40 people in line.
Yeah, so there was an extra line. So basically, if you let's say the crepes were what you had gone for, if that's what the prize is of the buffet, you would have waited in line for at least an hour outside because it was snaking all around. Yeah. And then you would have gone inside and then waited in another line inside for the crepes. Yeah. And that was supposed to be what was really good. We didn't try them. First of all, we were already full from trying the other food that we had, and we were disappointed. So it was a lot of work for...
And expensive. It was like $27 each.
Yeah, which was
expensive
very
within
close
the
to
level
Bacchanal as well.
Of buffets generally on the Strip. And that was... and we don't... if I eat breakfast, I don't have patience. It's the worst time for patience in the day. Obviously, when you wake up and you're hungry. And I just don't... It certainly wasn't... It was just a normal buffet. It would have been the normal one. And I've had better buffet at Bally's.
Yeah. And one of the reasons for the buffet is not wanting to wait.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand the lines if there's a really good cost value for it.
For sure.
But, a buffet, the whole idea is that you don't have to wait to be served. That
you want to eat right away. And you eat right away. And an hour in line and a half hour for a crepe, it's 90 minutes. When I can probably get Wolfgang Puck himself to make me something, it's different. Now, of course, we found out that the crepes you can now get on their own outside of the buffet.
Yeah, there was another restaurant outside.
The creperie or something,
it had a good line, too. But then you didn't have to wait in the buffet line. You basically had the same line as inside.
Besides that restaurant, though, on the other side was a walk-up crepes thing. Yeah. And that's what Dave said. That's where he goes now. And sadly... Dave, that would have been helpful, before we actually went to the
Dave was not popular with the Vegas 30 as we were sitting at breakfast. I'm not going to lie. So.
And that's the thing is, again, that's what disappoints you, where you realize that, the food is a big part of Vegas for us. And I know for a lot of people, because you get a chance to eat at places you never would, celebrity places that you can go to that you're like, because, Wolfgang Puck. And we found out that we've been pronouncing an entire restaurant wrong the entire time, which...
when a commercial comes on and we both look at each other and are like...
And we're like,
Savoy
we're going to Guy Savoy restaurant. Apparently, it's Guy Savoy. And for 9 years now, I've been calling her Guy Savoy.
And we just laughed hysterically because obviously
we're
French.
Canadian. We're supposed to know these French things, apparently.
And we said it wrong, but
so
we apologize.
Guy, we're sorry.
We're sorry about the way we said your name, Guy.
We're willing to come to your restaurant and make amends. And but speaking of that and famous restaurants, you had an experience. You got to go to one of our favorite... celebrity chef places.
Yeah, so I was on my own. I was at Caesars, and I wanted to try a Gordon Ramsay pub. I think it's called Pub and Grill, which is a fairly new, one of the newer restaurants inside Caesars. And there's a lot of it's the exact same story basically. It's just saying that there's so many choices. I'm in my very favorite hotel in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. I know at least 6 places I can go and eat that will be fantastic, including the food court.
Food court, Rao, Nobu, Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, absolutely.
Room service.
Yeah, so there's a Starbucks there. There's the Homestead's there. I mean, there's a lot of choices, and I want to try it because it's new.
That we've all tried, yeah.
Yeah, I want to try it because it's new. I look at the menu; it looks good. I'm thinking like pub food or whatever. It'll be fantastic, and it was not. It was very expensive. It was twice the price as the dinner that I'd had the night before at Rao's. So Rao's is Italian, so spaghetti and fantastic, amazing.
We talked about it in a previous
and a drink.
Episode,
so I had spaghetti and a drink or something, and I had a fish dish at the pub place that was supposed to be really good. And it's Gordon Ramsay, it's a celebrity name, and I understand that Gordon is not in the back making my dinner. I'm not. I get it.
He's not broiling the fish.
Okay, I get it, but at the same time. at the same time, like we talk about a lot on the Unpodcast, you know, his name is on it. And so attached to his name and attached to the fact that it's in Caesars and that I have all these other choices, I'm expecting it to be at least as good as the fish and chips I would have gotten at the food court.
And we've gone to celebrity chef restaurants in Vegas and outside of Vegas too.
And have been amazing.
Emeralds, we've done Wolfgang Puck and MGM.
All fantastic.
So it's not like it's well, you have to expect it. We've already had a bar set high on the other places as well.
So I really can't recommend that place. I didn't like it. It was very, very expensive. I'm not sure. I didn't try every dish, obviously, on the menu, but from what I tasted, I didn't like it. And also, you're not allowed to go there and just have drinks. So even though they have it designed like a bar, like there's TVs and a bar and tables at the front, you can't go there and just have a drink and sit there.
Well, we were trying to have a meeting with people last week who wanted to hire me to speak for an event in Vegas next year, and they saw me speak at the one that we were just at.
Yeah.
And like we'll meet at since they were British, we're like Gordon Ramsay, obviously pub and grill, obviously as stereotypical as we can.
Can't believe you stereotype them that way,
and
Scott.
And we show up to it, and the guy's like, they won't allow us to sit down and have a drink.
Yeah.
It's Gordon Ramsay pub.
Yeah.
A pub is built on having a pint.
And I don't mind spending money, but I don't like having to order something to be able to
even
sit
the
there
bar
and have
tables.
drinks.
There's a bar with bars type of tables. No, you have to have food.
Yeah, I didn't like that, and I didn't like how expensive the meal was. It was very expensive. Like I said, twice as much as Rouse. I'd go to Rouse twice.
Which makes you, and that's the sad part about Vegas. And the good part though is, you know, sometimes we don't want to try new places because we love the places we have already because they're that good, and we will as a service to you, our listener and viewer, try new places and go for them. But the problem is, if we have the greatest spaghetti we've ever had at Rouse, if we have the greatest sushi we've had at Nobu, which we had again, if we've had the greatest deep fried macaroni and cheese from the Cheesecake Factory, we don't have a reason to go anywhere else. And but there's still places, and that's the thing is, like we said, there's so many choices. We still have places in Caesars we've never tried. We haven't tried the Mesa Grill, and that's what's his nuts,
Flay, right?
Bobby Flay. Thank you.
Or what's his nuts? Whatever. It's pronounced Savoy.
And that's, I think, Bobby Flay.
Bobby, what's his nuts?
Yeah, from Talladega Nights, right? Ricky Bobby is cooking and stuff. But that's the point where you have the opportunity for excellence. I think that's what it really is. It's like if we went to, let's say, Gordon Ramsay pub in west of Toronto or something like that, and we had to get together, we did it. You might tolerate it because it's just that's the way. But Vegas is so much excellence in so small amount of space that you ain't got no time for that. You just don't want to deal with that. You don't want to go and see it because it's not going to live up to it. And one of the things for me on the first trip about not living up to it is when I did the first trip to Vegas, and or first or second trip, and we went to see the Strip, and we went to see all the different places. And there's some famous, obviously very famous places there. You got to see Venetian and the canals and the gondolas going around. You got to see the Bellagio fountain. You got to see the Forum shops and Caesar's statue and everything. If you hit the Mandalay Pool, you want to see that because it's a famous spot. Luxor Pyramid. Yeah, I can go on and on and on. And one of the places I thought was going to be really cool to see was Circus. Yeah. And people listening right now who have been to Vegas and seen Circus, they're just laughing right now because they know exactly what I'm going to say. It's just a hole. It's just it's just a dirty, terrible, rundown place. People are like, well, it's where you can bring families. I would never bring any children, let alone ones I that were mine, to this place where it's just.
You can bring kids to other hotels. Like there's a lot of things to do. I wouldn't bring kids there.
It's really run down. It's in a bad spot, and I don't think you want to go there. I just don't think it's just not. Circuses are scary enough, I think, with the clowns and the lions and stuff.
Circuses are scary enough.
And I think the theory of it with the trapeze artists going over your head while you're playing blackjack, sounds pretty cool. But that
would give me an anxiety attack.
Yeah, and it's just not. Maybe it was a good 25 years ago, 30 years ago, but it's not worth the trip to Circus up the Strip because it's just not. There's no appealing thing. When I went to it, I wouldn't ride the rides, and it's like I can't remember what it's called, like the Circus Dome or the Thunder Dome, or something. Like Mad Max is going to come out of there, which is more appropriate, I think. By the way, if they called it Mad Max instead of Circus, and there are people that walked around with crazy gear on and spikes, and they may or may not kill you like that, I would stay there. And that would be amazing. But it's they're like a family place. It's just. I guess if you're like a dirty family or something, you like dirt and crappiness, and that would be a place to go. But
is crappiness what you're into?
That's what
we have the hotel for you.
Yeah, and now for a commercial. Do you like crap? Do you like crappy rooms and bad food and dirtiness? We have the resort for you. Circus! Come for the crap and the clap.
Oh, God.
Stay for the clowns. That went the wrong way quickly. So, yeah.
Went right off the rails.
We may get sued. All right, so that's good. But I think save your trip to it, too. That it's not worth it. And I usually say, see everything you can. Yeah. But I think you can go without it. And it's okay. Now, on my list before, but has not been on it now, has been removed, was the Stratosphere. Yeah. That originally, it's a place where I don't know how to word this properly. It smelled like pee. It just was a bad place you didn't want to go.
There's no other way to word that.
There's just no other way to really candy coat that. And I just said, get the clap at Circus. So I'm there's nowhere else I can go right now.
It was nice when I was there.
I get it, but they've done a lot of renovations. So they've come out of the shun list. They've removed it from it, and it's a great spot to see the Strip.
Yeah,
a great spot to see it at night. They really have made it a lot nicer inside. It's still the Stratosphere. It's still 3-star type of thing. It's still cheaper, obviously, and it still isn't a bad spot. That north end of that Strip, on the east side of the Strip, you go anywhere farther than Encore.
Yeah.
Just the sister property, the Wynn.
Yeah.
And any farther north on the west side than Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And then the Fashion Show Mall, you're not in a good place.
No.
So when my buddies Steve and Jay, when they went for their first time, it was the time before that I went. They went with like 4 of them, and they were walking the street out there at night, and a cab literally pulled over and said, "Why are you guys walking around? Get in the cab."
Wow.
Like that. And they're not supposed to pick you up on the road on this trip, and I pulled them over and said, "Get in the cab." It wasn't going to charge them. Just you're not walking around here.
Yeah. And
that's where the end of the monorail. So you stop where Sahara, which is no longer open, that would stop and you walk across the street there. It's not a good place to go. Wow. Walking around. Stratosphere itself, very cool. I haven't stayed there, but I like what they've done. Up top is really cool.
Yeah.
The shops
the
up there.
rides and the games.
Restaurant. I should eat up there. We should eat up there one time where it's supposed to be a really nice steakhouse up there. But yeah, great view. Amazing view up there. Rides are ridiculous. And you can jump off the side now legally and on a cable and go off there. So, they have come off the list for me. One place that was not on the list that went on the list after a subsequent visit was Mandalay Bay.
Yeah.
And people are surprised when we would say this.
I have mixed feelings about Mandalay Bay.
That Mandalay itself, very nice. The hotel, the capital THE, I don't know who the marketing genius was for this, but the THE, which they're now looking at trying to change and rebrand into a different kind of boutique hotel.
It was beautiful. The rooms, the hotel was really, really nice.
But then we stayed at Mandalay regular room.
Yeah, because there's a lot of conferences there.
Yeah, so it gets filled up quickly.
And it has a nice, for conferences, it has a nice conference
Spoken
space.
At many conferences there.
Yeah, but the hotel wasn't great.
Michael Jackson 1.
Which is great.
Phenomenal show.
Yeah.
Some great restaurants, great conference spaces. Foundation Room, our favorite places in Vegas. Food there, view there, everything there, amazing. And then the regular room there, though, was just bad.
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Mandalay's a 5-star. So this is like, if I stayed at the room in Mandalay at Circus, it's a penthouse.
Awesome. Well, right? And that's Vegas too, right? Like everything sets, the expectation is always set by how much something costs, how much work you had to take to get there, like a restaurant, right? Like how much out of the way you had to get, and what people have said before. So Mandalay really puts itself out there as 5-star rating. It's famous for the beach and the shark reef, right? And so it has all of these cool things to it. And then the room was just kind of like
the disparity between the hotel room and the nice suite. Or the regular room there, and the regular room Mandalay, it felt like a Holiday Inn. There's nothing wrong with a Holiday Inn if you're going to stay there where you go, and that's what you stay.
Yeah.
But your Mandalay Bay is literally a 5-star. Like it's registered as a 5-star resort, and you're going there, and it's like a 2-star room.
I remember I went to the spa, one of the trips that was there, and I called, and they're like, well, we have the old spa or we have the hotel spa. I'm like, I gotta go with the hotel spa because I've seen the rooms. I'm assuming the spa is similar. And that hotel was beautiful, and the spa was one of the nicest spas in Vegas I've been to. But yeah, and I would say too, related to Mandalay, they're very big on that beach kind of pool that they have. Like it's like a walk-in kind of, and it was really nice. Except the time that I was there, and it was 115 degrees.
Well, and that's one of the things about disappointment, where it's not just places or locations, but people are not ready for Vegas sometimes. Like in the summer, you can't sit out there.
No, I couldn't, and I love heat. Like I'm the
sat
person.
out many a days, many a pools, many times.
The beach. I'm the person who's in the sun, and it was too hot. Like you couldn't walk on the sand because you would burn your feet.
I think people forget it's a desert. right? It can be where summer is very hard to deal with there.
Yeah, and if it had been my one trip to Vegas and I had booked Mandalay Bay because on the website this beach pool was just outstanding, and it hadn't said on the website, they just assumed that I would know that it's the summer in the desert. You idiot. So, and I go all the time, so it wasn't such a big deal. But it's something to think about before. It's one of those planning things. Remember what month you're going in. Have a look at the weather. Pack accordingly, and don't be set on sitting by a pool because it can be actually too hot.
And on the flip side of that, December and January and February can actually get cold.
Yeah, they'll close the pools. Like we're from Canada, we're like it's warm enough. We want to be in the pool, but the pool's closed. You can't go out there.
They're lucky I'm wearing pants there in December. But it's like I've worn my leather jacket around during the day sometimes in Vegas because people think it's always hot. It's the desert too, right? Where it can get cold at night, especially in the quote winter months that they have there too.
Our last valet was wearing a toque and a fleece. It was pretty funny. I don't know if it was fleece worthy, but he was in it. He was rocking that toque.
We can't deal with this, right? It's just too much.
We bought the toques with the logo on it. We're wearing it.
Yeah, and that's where you get, and that sometimes is where it's situationally disappointing. So it might not be like the restaurant itself or the hotel itself. But the circumstances can do it. Like it actually snowed last year in Vegas once. Which
it rained quite a couple times. One of the times I was there, it actually was leaking into the casino. It rained so hard.
They weren't ready for it.
No, they weren't ready. Well, they never are. I mean, they don't need to be. I mean, it rains so rarely. But when it rains, it rains a lot, and so you need to be prepared for those kinds of things just in case, depending on what time of year you're going.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's where we realize that, expectations, again, should be set high because it's a place that has great stuff to get that expectations. But even the fact that when we wanted to, we're fans of throwing private dinners and parties and getting people together that we love, that we want to hang out with more, especially at conferences and events. Like we're looking at coming up the new Media Expo, right, which is formerly Blog World in Vegas, where I'm keynoting in January. And we're going to throw a party or dinner. And what we found out originally, and the disappointment for us, the biggest disappointment, I think overall for both of us in Vegas, was the hassle of booking a party or an event in Vegas, a place where it has so much competition for events, so much competition in bars and get-togethers that you figure they'd just be begging for your money. And it was actually the reverse, that it was so difficult to find a place that for two different, a Tweet Up was one of them where I wanted to bring 200 people to a bar on a weeknight during a dead time at 6 p.m. type of thing to 9 p.m. And it was just so hard to find a place, to then throwing a 100-person open bar party with a budget to do it one night after a conference as well a few years ago. And it really blew my mind that the places just didn't, it felt like they just didn't care.
Yeah, it's really frustrating because obviously you are so excited that you found Vegas. You want to have some kind of party, anything from a dinner to, just the bar kind of place, like 100 people, like you said, to a big party. And everywhere you look in Vegas, someone's roping something off because they're having a party, and just look around, like everyone else seems to be able to throw a party. But yeah, the planning's really important. And also it's going to take you longer than you think. Yeah. And so you need to make sure that if that's something that you want to do, that you really, as soon as you're thinking about doing it, you need to start finding the right. And I would say work really hard to find the right person, the right contact.
Yeah, and for us, it changed when obviously we got Manya, who we seem to mention almost in every podcast.
Yeah, she's
hi, Manya.
Famous.
How you doing? So, with Manya, who used to work at Light Group that had, that ran restaurants and clubs down there. Once you found the awesome person inside the doors, it made it so much easier and so much better. Then she was the one that made us feel great and appreciated us and made us want to stay there. And we brought them business.
And it's not just us. Like, we've heard it from a lot of people who are trying to plan everything from small events to conferences, that it can be like pulling teeth to get to that right person.
And Vegas, we were talking about this before, that Vegas is the one place in the world that is like, it's like the NSA's wet dream in Vegas, where we give all of our information to casinos using the player cards willingly. Yeah. That we want you to know everything we're doing, and they use the information so little to make you feel good at all, for special. When we check in anywhere, especially in a Caesars, they know everything we've ever done. Every time I sneezed, we go to Caesars, we shop, we use that card in restaurants and gambling, and just to make you a little bit feel special. Everybody wants to feel special, just a little bit.
Yeah, and to have things made easier. Like, the more often you're coming, the trip should get easier, I think.
For sure.
That's something, they have the information. You give them permission to use the information.
We're not strangers, right? You're not showing up saying, you're like, who are you? Like, they have exact records of everything we've spent, everything we've ever done in Vegas, and for having to treat you like you're just brand new to the system, especially with places that have full information about what we've ever done, to be able to say, hey, Mr. Stratton, welcome back. By the way, the video poker machine that you've been playing, that you put in $20,000 coin into, we've got new versions of it.
I would say that's probably like personally, other than running the event personally, is there's kind of a personal letdown I get feeling about, going all the time and not feeling like they're using the information properly. So that's something that we'd really love to see.
Well, it's like the old school hosts where I know there's still some in Vegas, but it certainly has lost its, what maybe all the hosts go for the biggest whales now, or I'm not in that category of what they talk to. But back in the day with the host would have emailed me and said, by the way, Scott, I know the video poker machine you love because we play 100-hand video poker, very specific machine. They would have written me and said, "Hey, we got new machines, better screens in exactly where you play, just so we got them just for you, LOL," or something like that. Would have flown down to play them, just to try them out. We love it so much, and it was just such a lost opportunity. Where when you have no, and here's where it comes down to where we're crossing over worlds here with the unmarketing on podcast world. But when you have the ability to make somebody feel special and you don't take it up at all. And I've given you permission to make me feel special. That's really what it comes down to.
Yeah.
And you don't take it at all, you actually start eroding that relationship.
Yeah.
Where you went from feeling special to, it's like somebody who tweets me 12 times as how much they love my book, or they love what I've done, or they love the podcast, and we never say anything to them.
Yeah.
It erodes it.
Yeah.
It starts to erode it more than anybody who didn't deal with this at all.
Yeah.
And that's where that window of opportunity opens up for other casinos. That's why we left MGM.
Yeah.
Right? That's why right now, and if you're listening to Caesars right now, you can feel free to listen. That's why right now it's eroding with you.
Yeah.
That because when we go there, and we love Caesars, we can't sing more higher praises for the property. But when you spend enough money, as we do, and when you go there enough that you just want somebody to say, "Welcome back, Mr. Stratton," or "Welcome back, Allison." Maybe the machines are, you've eaten at Nobu 3 times. We have it right here.
Yeah.
And we got a new tuna sashimi dish in here now they might want to try. We know you've shopped here, and here.
Yeah.
All right. And by the way, we know you bet at Sportsbook. By the way, did you guys want us to grab you seats for the football on Sunday? Because we see you place bets. Do you want us to grab you a seat at Nobu? Tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think all the same reason that some of the restaurants can be letdowns in terms of like breakfast buffet and things like that is the same reason that planning parties and things can be letdowns. Because I think when you go to Vegas, because it's so glitzy and all the lights and everything, you just want to feel like really, really special. And I think everyone wants to feel that way, and I think it's one of the great opportunities and why we love Vegas. And I think that's the major reason why every once in a while something lets us down.
And we've never asked for a comp room.
No,
and that's not what we want.
No, most people. I'm not sure even most people that's what they're looking.
You just want to feel like they give a damn you came back. Like when I made Diamond for my first time with the Total Rewards, the Players Club.
Yeah.
When I made Diamond, which is the second highest one.
Yeah.
When I made Diamond and I got it, I'm like, yeah, cool. And I went up to the cage, or the Total Rewards player place, and I'm like, I think we just made Diamond. Can we get a new card?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, okay. Grabs it, does it, and gives us the card, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not even a scripted congratulations.
No, it's an opportunity, right?
Didn't even inform us that we earned a $100 voucher for any restaurant at Caesars to eat as a celebration.
Yeah.
What kind of celebration did they not even celebrate? That's what it was, right? I didn't want a candle on my cake. I didn't want a cake. I just wanted to say, well done, and Diamond, and know what I get because of it. And I didn't. Yeah. None of it. And that's what throws you off, where everybody got treated, there's no special feeling like that. And it almost sounds like we're first world spoiled problems and crying. But what the frustrating part is they have the info.
Yeah.
They have all the info to show you that we come from Canada multiple times a year, almost monthly.
And it doesn't change a bad experience necessarily. Like when we started talking, we talked about the Paris buffet first. And one of the things we talked about was that the card got us valet and skip the line. So, I mean, even with the special things, you still need to have good food at your restaurants. You still need to have a good show that you put on. So it doesn't change any of those things. It's just another aspect of Vegas that people are,
Caesars
trying
to
out.
us should be impenetrable. It should be the greatest place everyone will never leave.
Yeah.
But when you feel like a stranger, it does leave openings. We just stayed at the Hard Rock.
Yeah.
Never would have before.
No.
Right? So it just erodes a little bit.
Yeah.
So, and MGM starts to look enticing again. So it's really hard to really look at it and say, you know what, I'm this person's property or on this place's property and I want to go here all the time. And so, at the end of the day, expectations are very high in Vegas, rightfully so. And really, when we look at it to say, letdowns, luckily, are few and far between in Vegas. But when they do let you down, it's a huge drop. So for Allison, I'm Scott. For Wayne and for Adam, thank you for listening. And we hope it made Vegas a little more smoother for you. And we'll see you on the Strip.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes and visit thevegas30.com. And remember, what happens in Vegas goes on the podcast.